founder member of Pranashakti USA and its infinite dimensions worldwide, and working in India, Sri Lanka, Singapore and Nepal. So let us get some insight from him how he is changing this world to make a better place for our offspring. Sir, you please share me your experience, your purpose, how you are changing this world, sir.
Okay. So first of all, we need to understand about dimensions.
Okay.
Just imagine you are sleeping in your bedroom and suddenly some saint comes and gives you a fruit or flower and he goes. And you thought it's a dream and you continue to sleep. And next day morning when you wake up, you find that fruit or flower and you jump out of your bed and search for all the doors and windows and everything is shut, nicely shut. You thought it's a miracle. Because how did the yogi or saint came in and went out? So we think it is a miracle, but actually it is not a miracle. I believe it is accessibility with the higher dimensions. So the yogi or saint had access to 5th dimension or 10th dimension or 1000th dimension. So without disturbing this 3-dimensional structure, he was able to get in and get out. Now let me give another example so that the concept of dimension becomes clearer. Think of a 2-dimensional being which doesn't have a height. It has only length and width, no height. And you being a 3-dimensional being, you have length, width and height. Now right next to you, this 2-dimensional being is sitting. Now you have to, in front of you there is a, some water is there, you have to cross. You being a 3-dimensional being, you lift your leg and cross the water. But the 2-dimensional being, it doesn't have a height. So it cannot lift the leg and go. So it has to go like this, like this, like this and reach the side. Now, what you perform as a 3-dimensional being, don't you think it's a miracle for this 2-dimensional being? Yes. It shows that if somebody has access to another dimension, whatever they can do using that dimension, it looks miracle to us, but it is not a miracle. It's pure science.
Yes.
So this shows that lesser the number of dimensions, lesser the number of degrees of freedom, lesser the number of degrees of freedom, more the number of limitations, more the number of limitations, more the number of sufferings. Right? So, so naturally what happens when you stay in 3-dimensional lower dimensions, you have a lot of limitations. If you think 100 things, maybe 5 or 4, you materialize it. The rest of the time you suffer. When you go to higher dimensions, then degrees of freedom is higher. So limitations are lesser, so sufferings are lesser. So if you keep going like this, you reach infinite dimension. But there are infinite degrees of freedom and 0 limitations. That means no suffering. That's God's dimension or heaven, whatever you call it. So my mission is how we can download that infinite dimension to this 3-dimensional planet and transform this 3-dimensional planet into an infinite dimension. So that there will be no suffering. Whatever you wish, it materializes. Suffering comes only when you want something and you don't get, then suffering comes. Whatever you need, if it comes to you, then what is the question of suffering? So how can we transform this planet Earth into an infinite dimensional planet? How can you download that those vibrations or the consciousness of infinite dimension to this 3-dimensional plane and transform this planet into an infinite dimensional one? That is what my mission. So in this process, I got exposed with yoga. Of course, I studied Master of Technology, MTech, from one of the premier institutes in this country, India. And then I was about to get a job in the US, but before that I thought I'll go for a yoga vacation to Kerala. And once I reached that ashram, my mind got changed and I lived there for 3 years. In the Himalayas, I spent around 1.5 years. So much of miracles, so much of, highly spiritual people and concepts I came across that transformed me completely. And it gave me that trust and belief that yes, we can transform this planet Earth into an infinite dimensional one. So I received knowledge of yoga, meditation, healing, Sri Vidya, and there are so many other Tantra and so many other spiritual sciences. And not only spiritual sciences, there are so many non-spiritual sciences, so-called in fact, I believe everything is spiritual, but so-called non-spiritual sciences also there, like music, dance, painting, so many things are there. So anything that can make you happier, any tool that can make you happier, any tool that can make you smile is capable of bringing in infinite dimension to this planet. So whatever I came across, I acquired it. I got those people. Something I can share, something other people can share. We got everyone, and we started this organization called Infinite Dimension. And when I went to US, there they wanted to keep it Pranashakti USA. So it headquartered in Bay Area, San Jose, Fremont area. So from there, in USA, almost 32 states were sharing the techniques or technologies. I call it technology, spiritual technologies to people to be happier, to smile 24/7. And then, of course, other countries, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Singapore, Malaysia, some of the European countries, and now Canada, Australia, New Zealand, we are looking at Africa, South America, we are looking at. So, and we are open to any science, any technology, any tool which can bring in smile to people. So, that is what our mission.
So for that you are working since long, because you share your experience, because being a technocrat you got to that idea, that knowledge from Kerala, and you decided to lead your life to promote and to transcend the boundaries of all your broad dimensions to achieve that higher dimension. So being the soul, because just think about the traditional education system in India and that of the contemporary education system about our students, what message you would like to give to our teenager students so they can transcend their own dimensions to become a global citizen, sir? Your message to our students, whoever is watching this video, sir.
My message to the young community is basically be the change you want to see in the world. Unless you transform yourself, you cannot expect transformation of the world. You are part of the world. So unless you be transformed, how can you think of world being transformed? So basically, today the major problem with young kids is IQ is good, everyone. Today, if you compare our generation and this younger generation, IQ is much better, no doubt about that. But where they fail is EQ and SQ, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, spiritual quotient, spiritual intelligence. So these two things we enhance in these kids. And also the energy for their wasting, what you call it, sexual energy. The sexual energy, generally, they drift them away. It drifts them away from their focus. So they must learn how to transmute that energy and transmute it into spiritual energy known as Medha. Like today in India they say Medhavi student. Medhavi student means a student who has extraordinary abilities. So that Medha. So how can you transmute the lower sexual energy into Medha? So every student, teenager, should be empowered with those technologies. And then they have to be empowered with technologies which help them to improve their emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence. So our teachings is basically based on these aspects and how we can improve these areas in students. That's why we have developed some techniques like Genius Brain Yoga, Ekalabya Yoga, and Pranashakti Kids, Pranashakti, Mahavidya. So like this, there are different sciences are there which we are sharing. And don't be, blindly believe anything, but be open to everything. Science is about being open. Science is not about being closed. Many times what happens, we don't believe. We tell, no, it is not scientific. How can you tell it is not scientific? Unless you test and see whether it is really true or not. So be open first. For anything, be open, experiment, see if it is good or bad. If it is bad, leave it. If it is good, acquire it. That's what means.
And sir, in our education system, as you mentioned, that these techniques should be taught to all students so they can transform their lower energy into higher Medha Shakti. Yeah. But as per the real context of India and our education system, even ethical education and morality has been omitted from the syllabus of the students. So for that, how students can learn and how they can come to access about all these spiritual kind of things and to the real knowledge, the real essence as you experience after completion of your all those degrees and all those things.
Yeah, actually, see, as far as students are concerned,
yes,
their partners are the parents and the teachers. So unless parents and teachers they take some special initiatives, it is very difficult for the students to take it up. But still, because they are young adults, they also have their ability to choose. So they can, whatever the things I suggested to improve EQ and SQ, and to transmute lower sexual energy into higher spiritual energy or intellectual energy called Medha. So whatever techniques being offered in the world, they can go and learn that, acquire that. And of course, before learning, they should check whether the teaching is proper or not, from other benefactors, the people who have benefited from such teachings. Let them go, ask them. If they feel yes, it is good, then they can also join the program and improve themselves. And of course, always internet is there, such a great ocean of knowledge. They can always experiment, but before putting into practice, they should consult a knowledgeable person and practice, because sometimes certain things have side effects. So and of course the books are there, then elder people are there, more experienced people are there. They can always meet them, talk to them, get guidance from them. Teachers are there, parents are there, they can take guidance from them and continue their life.
And sir, if I would like to promote them to utilize your techniques, to learn those techniques, then how can they get that you share me a card that it is having details about you? Can I show this card to my students?
You can give my email ID to them, so they can contact me on email.
So, and that the website you already mentioned. So if you really...
Pranashakti.com, Pranashakthi.com.
So they can visit that website, or they can email you on your email ID.
Yes.
And it's Guruji YAK@gmail.com. So thank you very much, sir.
They can also go to Facebook, Pranashakti India, PRANASHAKTHI Pranashakti India. So that's our Facebook page, and PRANASHAKTHI.com, Pranashakti.com is our website, and US website is pranashaktiusainc.org.
So thank you very much, sir, for sharing your insight about holistic development of students, and I hope students will learn and they will transform themselves.
Thank you
very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.